Hello, everybody, and welcome into March 31st, 2024. Happy Easter to everyone, or hopefully everyone had a happy Easter, or is currently having a happy Easter if you're out on the West Coast. We have William, Rich, Greg, Sin, and myself joining us for this Easter edition of Kenstout Live with the Zoom Homies, or the Zoom Homies with Kenstout Live. Yep, the hair is down again. I just got out of the shower a few minutes ago, and I didn't feel like putting it up yet. So, not much going on in the chat room. Tony Wallow was first. He said, good evening, a little bit after I got things scheduled this afternoon. Excuse me. Rick Lakes was second. He says, hello, happy Easter. Did not see his Easter video yet today. Been kind of busy. Greg was third. He was doing something with food. I don't know. Chicken dinner, chicken pepper, onions, green onions. That sounds pretty good, actually. I have no clue what I'm having for dinner. And Tim Tech Wiz says, hello, happy Easter. So hopefully everybody had a good day. I know we certainly did. We spent about 3 hours visiting Mom. It was a good visit. We discussed some memories and some upcoming events, vacation, golfing, the weather. It was just all around. It was a really good. Now, is that coming through? If I put my mouse over that, does that come through over? It does, doesn't it? Okay, don't want to do that. So let's put that right there. How many people saw the trailer tonight? I'm gonna push the trailer, by the way. Not every day I get what I had said to me today by anybody, let alone Doug Betts. But yeah, I jumped all over that opportunity. I think he knew I would as well. There's another little project I'm working on with Doug. I'm not working with Doug. It involves Doug, and it involves his hair color. Right now I'm running into issues trying to get the hair to mask out. John Williams says, happy Easter, everyone. Kenstout, looks like you had enough to eat. Yeah, I've put back on. I'm back to, let's see, 236. I got down under 230, and I'm back to 236. And I'm not looking forward to, yes, thank you, Wintermute, for mentioning that. That was the third thing I wanted to mention. Congratulations to the North Carolina State Wolfpack. They were the 16th seed in the Sweet 16. They are now going to be the number 4 seed in the Final Four, and they play Purdue University. I'm torn on this one. I don't like Purdue University. Purdue University has never won a championship in anything, so I'm kind of wanting them to win to represent the Big Ten. I think Alabama stands no chance against UConn. Would not mind seeing the Wolfpack win, though. I mean, that would be pretty cool. And then if the Wolfpack could upset UConn, that would be even better to go from, hey, they're not going to make it into the tournament. Whoop, wait, they won their ACC tournament. Now we got to let them in. So we'll rank them 11th. They won't go anywhere. Oh, they made the Sweet 16. Darn it. Now, we'll rank them 16. They won't go. Damn it, now they're in the Final Four. It was a good game. I enjoyed watching it. I did not watch 1 minute of the Purdue game today. That was on during our visit with Mom, so we turned the TV off and we sat there and we had the old-fashioned family get-together, with the exception of the cell phones. My brother was on his phone, my sister was on his phone, and my sister-in-law was on her phone. My brother-in-law, myself, and Mrs. K, and obviously Mom, were not on our cell phones. It was a good visit. The lunch was absolutely delicious. Absolutely. We had ham sandwiches, baked beans, potato salad. Mrs. K made deviled eggs, which there's irony in that if you think about it. Deviled eggs on Easter Sunday. Let your imagination run wild with that one. And they were really good. I was the test guinea pig as she was making these things, and she came in here about every other 5 minutes, it seemed like, and she says, try this one. And she kept adding, and finally we went with paprika and chili was the final version. It was really good. John Williams says Wintermute, they played a great game. I came home and it was, I think, 26 or 29-21 at the half. And I thought, oh my goodness, it's a low scoring game. They stand no chance. Maybe they're playing this. Maybe both teams are playing a slow down game. I don't know. But then when I watched the second half, the commentators kept saying that the Wolfpack were really fortunate to be no further down than they were, and clearly North Carolina State wanted to win that game much better. I mean, you could just see the intensity was there. They wanted to win this game, and I thought it was a good game too, John. I thought it was a very well played game. DJ, what's his name? DJ, I can't think of his name. Hello, everyone. I guess at Kenstott will speak maybe next week. I'm speaking now, Chris. DJ Burns. Yes, thank you. He had a pretty good offensive game today, I thought. Seemed to be unstoppable. Not very athletic, if you think. I mean, he was just moving his weight around and getting in position and making some good shots. And defensively, he was coming up with a lot of rebounds as well. So 26-21. Okay. I thought that's what it might have been. Chris says, hello, everyone. I guess at Kenstott Live will speak maybe next week. Am I not being heard anywhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
You heard.
All right. Oh, the bell's not on. Hello, Chris.
Hey.
Good to see you joining us. Noticed you've been away for a day or two. At least a day. Maybe yesterday. I don't know. I'm old. And
Just last night. I was here Friday night.
Yeah, I know. Giving you a hard time. Tony says audio is normal. Okay, good. Just wondering. Let me minimize. I got the bell so nobody can sneak in. Excuse me. I am suddenly tired.
Did you hear about the shooting?
There was a shooting in downtown Indianapolis either last night or the night before that involved kids that were between the ages of, I want to say 12 and 17, if I remember the article correctly. And
they didn't arrest anybody.
Doesn't surprise me. They probably have no clue who shot who. That's down at Circle Center Mall, which was popular back in the 90s. It's pretty much dilapidated and nobody goes down there hardly anymore. It was tragic to read. I really didn't like reading it. What is the mad scientist up to now? Let us spotlight the mad scientist and try to figure out what kind of a concoction is he putting together now. Thought there for a minute he was going to explain.
Let's try to make a remote control.
Another remote control?
Go to the new desk. Everything's changing.
Well, yeah, I can see that. Is this going to be for the game?
No, this is for the speakers.
Oh, a remote control for your speakers. Here in a minute, Bill's going to hit the wrong wire and his hair is going to stand straight up. John Williams says, DJ Burns is a beast. Yeah, he clearly held his own today, I thought. I kind of spoke kind of bad of him the other day. Didn't think that he really was all that impressive. I get it. He's a big boy. He takes up a lot of real estate. And for that reason alone, I see why they had him in there. I thought he played very well today. He did not back down from their big men, and both offensively and defensively. So, anyway, it's enough basketball talk. I'm probably the only basketball fan in this group.
In Atlanta, you know how you can get an app now to start your car.
Yes, I've heard rumor of that. Yes.
In Atlanta, there was 11 they were 11-year-old boys. Did they broke into a Dodge dealership, and they got the codes to the Hellcats.
Mm-hmm.
and they stole them, and then they went and sold them for $1,000 each.
Was that is that the modern day version of real life Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage?
I guess so.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
I don't like that idea of starting a car with your phone.
The world is going to where we're doing an awful lot of things with our phone, and I'm not real keen on it either. I think everyone in my family but me has a remote start to their car. And that's always been a concern of mine. It's just worrisome to me. But my sister's like, oh, it's so nice to start your car and 15 minutes later go out and it's all warm. Well, you walk out to your car, you start your car, you go back in the house. Problem solved. And she's like, no, no, no. My sister and brother-in-law are, this is really weird. He's driving the big camper they have down to Florida in a couple of weeks to get the windows replaced. Apparently the windows are losing their window whatever. He explained it to me, but I didn't understand it. But he's driving down. My sister, on the other hand, is flying down. They were like trying to talk us into flying to California. I said, no, we're going to drive this. We've got plenty of days to get to California and do what we're going to do and come home. We're not desperate to get there. Do what we need to do and then to get home. This isn't your typical vacation in that respect. If it takes us 4 days to get to California, everything will be backed up a day, and I'm sure everybody will be okay with that. Looking forward to it.
My mother's car is auto start, but I don't think you can do it with an app or anything. It just does it with a key fob.
Real quick before I forget, Greg, did you see the picture of the tulips in the barn I posted on the Facebook Messenger to the homies? Would you say that's about 12 feet in length? I don't want to tell him he's muted. Oops.
The shed, you mean?
Yeah, the shed. I call it the barn. It's a shed. Yeah.
It looks like it.
All right. Yeah, I got some pictures. If I didn't delete them, I want to share with you guys later of a house that someone's realtor actually had someone take pictures of this, and I don't know the right word to describe. So you'll just have to wait, and hopefully I can find the pictures because it's interesting at the very least. At first, I thought it was kind of someone trying to be humorous. You know, April 1st is tomorrow, and then I realized that's not. And I think one of the funnier things about this house was they claim it to be 4-bedroom. Well, one of the bedrooms is they took a bed and put it in the hallway, and that's a bedroom. Not in my book, it's not. I'm just going to go with that. If that's the case, this house is about to turn into a 6-bedroom mansion. We did drive by a couple properties today, and we were kind of like, yeah, oh, shoot, I was supposed to look that one house up, too. Oops. If Mrs. K asked, I looked the property up, okay?
No.
Yes. You got to work with me here.
No.
Okay, I'll send you 50 cents. I meant to do it when I got home, but I walked in and BH Ringer's thing was still going on. So I kind of got re-engaged with that a little bit. And then the basketball game was on, so I got disengaged from watching BH Ringer and engaged in watching the game. And then came back after the game, and Bill and I played a little bit of the game. And hopefully I'll play a little bit tonight. My plan tonight is to go ahead and just try to stay up all night and then get enough rest to get up and see Doug's 4th of July prank being an Apple repair.
Apple repair, huh?
That's what he said. He's got Windows lined out, and then he's got the word Apple kind of at an angle in big bold red letters.
Who's got that, Doug?
Doug, yeah. Yep. Now my comment was, is this an Apple's Fool's Day joke? But my comment was made late last night or early this morning, however you want to look at it. And I don't think it's going to be there when he has his show tomorrow. I just don't see that comment sticking around that long, and I don't get why it doesn't, but it is what it is. And then someone else made a comment about it as well. Brian made a comment making reference to the first Mac, or one of the first Macs that were built. Nice seeing him on the afternoon Zoom briefly this afternoon. Bill and I checked. Go ahead, Bill.
It's too bad he doesn't have Zoom going tomorrow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You get a picture of Big Mac.
I think he's smart enough not to have his Zoom going tomorrow on April Fool's Day.
You have a picture of Big Mac in Apple in honor of the Apple repair.
Yeah, the Hamburglar. Mrs. K and I are working on something for tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be done. It's very, 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 very in depth. And she's not lost interest. It's just working this weekend put a damper on. We meant to do it Friday, and she lost interest in that. And I'm hoping to get it done. I really am. I kind of went a little overboard today with the Doug thing, but like Mrs. K says, why did you do it so many times? I said, because Doug didn't tell me I'm right all the time. John Williams says, I did leave him a Mac so he can repair his mini Mac. Mac Mini. There you go. We will call it Mini Mac. Oh. Did hear from Alex. He was complaining about his long day, but they were finally home. And then, of course, that segued into he's complaining about tomorrow. Got to go to Little Rock, get his blood drawn, and get an EKG for his upcoming operation in later in April. He did not watch the trailer. No big surprise there. I just now noticed Ghetto left. Let me guess. Ghetto is streaming right now, is he not? Has anyone checked? I mean, I'm not going to lose sleep if he is. I don't see him. If he is, he's not showing up. Maybe he's got it scheduled for later. I don't know. I watched a really, really cool DaVinci Resolve thing. Half of it last night and the other half this morning. And this guy is self-taught. He was kind of poking fun at himself because I put a pretty nice lengthy comment in there about yesterday's thing that he uploaded, and I asked him if was he trained in this or is he self-taught. And unfortunately he's paralyzed, confined to a wheelchair like someone else we know, and he said, I've got a lot of time on my hand. And you could tell he was kind of making the joke with this. He said, because I'm paralyzed and I have nothing else better to do. I would really like to sit down with this guy on Zoom or Stream or Steam or whatever, just to pick his brain on where he comes up with some of these ideas of the things he's showing people. It is amazing. I goofed around a little bit last night and this morning and this afternoon on DaVinci, but not near to the extreme of, well, what happens if you take this and manipulate it like that? What's the end results? I don't think that way. I just don't think that way. I would really like to pick his brain, so to speak.
That sounds like someone else needs to be online.
That thought entered my mind as well, Bill. Is like, how could I get the two of them to talk to maybe give him some incentive to do something other than watch Tammy videos? John Williams says the lady up the street got a new Apple iPad and AirBook, so she gave. That is cool. I've worked with one Mac when we lived in Las Vegas. One of my wife's, Mrs. K's, co-workers had a Mac, and she wanted it reset, and then she was going to, I thought she said she was going to resell it. And after I reset it, she said, well, you can just keep it. I said, are you sure? And she says, yeah. I said, why don't you sell it? She says, nah, you can do with it what you want. You can bet your bottom dollar I resold it. Got pretty good money out of it, too. Hello, Jeff. Happy Easter to you.
Good evening.
Did you find your Easter eggs?
I got an Easter cupcake. Does that count? The kids each left one egg left in the yard that had a dollar bill in it.
They didn't find them, or they did that intentionally?
No, there were 3 eggs for each of them with a dollar in it, and each one of them only found 2. And the people who hid the eggs couldn't say anything because the Easter Bunny did it.
Right. It sounds like the people.
So I asked my daughter, I said, well, doesn't that money revert to Grandpa?
Yeah. Well, if Grandpa found them, of course. Yeah, the people who live directly behind my mom, they had an Easter egg hunt today.
Hey, Wintermute, I'm okay with what happened to the Vols. I mean,
it's a good game.
I rooted for them because I lived there, but once upon a time. But I haven't lived there in 24 years almost, so my loyalty has kind of waned. Now, if it
Who's
was
their
Lady
big
Vols,
man?
I would be.
Who is Tennessee's big man?
I have no idea.
Well, he and Zach Edney went head to head. Edney had 40, and their big man had 37. That would be a matchup to watch right there.
Sound like a good game.
From what we've seen and heard, yes, it was.
Did NC State win?
Yes, they did.
So Wintermute's happy.
Yeah, I am too, actually. I'm glad to see State made it to the Final Four. They played Purdue, and again, like I said earlier, I kind of favored Purdue a little bit because they're from the Big Ten, but it would not bother me if the Wolfpack made it to the championship game. It really would not.
So are the Final Four set now?
Yep. UConn, Alabama, followed by Purdue and the Pack, Wolfpack. That'll be on Monday the 8th.
UConn is the betting favorite at this point.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I just realized that's going to be on Monday the 8th. That's the same day as the eclipse that was a 40-minute conversation today. And my entire family, except my mom, was like shocked that I could care less about the eclipse. They were like, oh, we're going here and we're going here. And I'm like, have fun. When it happens, it happens. Whatever I see of the eclipse will be either on YouTube or the news, or somebody will tell me about it. Probably Alex Cheek. Because I'm not going to go out.
He'll say you should have come to Sheridan to see it.
Yeah, he will.
Does he know you're not supposed to look at it directly?
I think you've got a better viewing position than they do.
Yeah, according to the predicted path, we actually do. Oddly enough, Mrs. K did say something about she wants to go get a pair of sunglasses so that she can watch the eclipse. I'm like, well, we'll get the right ones if that's what you want to do. I'm not. And my brother was like,
say welder's glasses.
Sunglasses won't work.
Yeah, normal sunglasses will not work. You're right. They have to be a special lens glass to look at.
Some sort of frequency and ultraviolet that will scar your eyes.
Yep. We were trying to get my mom to understand. She goes, well, it's a total eclipse. The sun's not going to be seen. Well, yeah, for what? A minute, maybe? But then when that sun pops back out, your eyes are going to be so used to the darkness that, oh my gosh. And then the other thing we had a philosophical discussion about is the last eclipse that came through was from the northeast to the southwest. This one's coming from the southwest to the northeast. Therefore, their paths are going to cross, causing an X. And if you rotate that X, you get a cross. And oh my gosh, I'm like, you guys got some deep-ended, crazy conspiracy theories in you, don't you? And they all laughed. And then I brought up Greg and his son, and Greg's son thinks the world's going to end. And apparently there's, I'm not mentioning any family members that seem to have the same sentiment because they were buying cases of water yesterday.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of missing people, I don't know if any of you guys watch any of the railfan channels or not. There's a guy that hops trains called Hobo Shoestring, and he's missing.
I did not know and do not know. Sorry to hear that.
Well,
Was he chasing a train and went missing, or is he just?
don't think so. He lives near Johnson City, Tennessee, apparently. And a family member reported him missing. Something happened, and he was kind of disoriented and wandering around. And they found some of his stuff at his apartment, but they have not found him.
Is he an
And
elderly
he's
person?
had some health issues in the last year or two.
Okay.
He's only about 54 or something like that.
Oh, that's not old at all. What's his name?
His real name is Mark something. He goes by Hobo Shoestring on the channel he has. A channel called Southern Railfan is the one that reported this.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I googled it. There's an 8-minute, 39-second, 57 according to the missing poster. And that's as of 15 hours ago. I'm guessing they still haven't found him.
Apparently not.
Wow.
He was reported missing one other time, but I don't think it was the same kind of circumstances. This one sounds like a health issue. I don't know what the other one was years ago.
Well, hope for the best and wish him the best. Hopefully he's on a
the
train
other one
somewhere.
I think was he was in Kansas someplace actually where he'd hopped a train. And that one he did get arrested. Had to pay a fine.
So is it possible that maybe he hopped a train and he's in a boxcar somewhere and they just no one knows his whereabouts?
If he did, he left without all his equipment apparently.
Oh, okay. Something that would be out of the ordinary.
Right. I mean,
Right.
he takes quite a bit of equipment with him. He's got like one of the buckets from Lowe's or Home Depot that he carries a bunch of stuff in, and he packs for the weather. He's pretty sharp about doing that sort of stuff. And evidently he's reasonably well known. A few of the train crews have actually let him ride in the cab maybe once in a while.
Yeah, I subscribe to this one. It's called Northeast Train Fans of Northeast Georgia, I believe is what his channel is. And he recently did it from inside the train's perspective, which was really cool. And I asked him, I said, well, what are the chances you could get up into the engine itself? And he says, oh, I would love that, but that's not ever going to happen. I snuck my way into an engine in South Korea when I was stationed in Korea. It is really cool looking at how that train goes. It was neat, but back then we didn't have
Yeah, I
video
think
cameras
once or twice the train crews have let him in, if not the main engine and the trailing engine, just to stay warm.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, oddly enough, there are very few, if any, cabooses on trains nowadays.
But
I found that. Long Dog says, I like trains, especially the massive steel locomotives.
I've seen trains with engines on both ends.
I have yet to see that.
yeah, the ones this guy likes, and you know the cars where they have the openings in the bottom to dump stuff out of?
Mm-hmm.
Called exactly, but on the end of each one, sometimes there's like a little piece of steel sticking up, and there's almost sort of a little sheltered area on each end of some types of those cars. That's what a lot of them like to ride in, big, because that's a little bit out of the wind and it's also out of sight.
That's usually when they're going to hook up and make another train when they do that. And they'll be pulling several engines too.
I've seen some weird configurations, couple engines up front, and then in the middle of the train, a couple engines in the middle. That makes no sense to me, but I guess there's a purpose behind it.
Making other trains that they tracks
Oh,
with.
the distributed power unit. And it puts less stress on the couplers to have power in the middle of the train than to have all of them on one end or the other. That's according to a guy named Danny Harmon, who has a channel,
Oh.
Distant Signal.
I'm just gonna look at that up. See what he did.
That
If you
reminds
want to
me
hear a
of,
guy explain something well, listen to Distant Signal Rail Channel. Guy's name is Danny Harmon, and the reason his narration is so good, he's a professional announcer in his regular life.
That'd be cool to listen to. Rick Lakes joins us in chat. Says most of our trains have engines at the end. Speaking of Rick, how is the weather in Minnesota these days? I wonder if they still have snow on the ground. That just killed the room. Mention the S word. Never fails. Well, believe it or not, the 29 minutes, actually it's been about 30 minutes since I started, is over. It went by relatively quickly. I want to thank everyone for being here. William, Rich, Jeff, Sin, Chris, of course Greg. Since there's no Asians around, I can call him by his American name of Greg. And I want to thank everyone on YouTube, Wintermute, Long Dog, John Williams, Tony Wallow, of course, Chris Garrett, Tim Tech Wiz, who's probably not with us, Rick Lakes, and if I missed your name, I'm sorry. Again, congratulations goes out to Wintermute. See you guys all later. If you want to join us on Zoom, it's over there. I'm not going to read it. See you tomorrow.
You missed me again.
No, I did not. You need to get okay,
You
Ghetto.
mentioned everybody on YouTube, but not me. I was on YouTube.
Oh, wait, you were on YouTube?
Yes.
Let me look.
3rd place.
4th.
All
I
I
see.
saw
I
was
see
3.
Tony, Rick. Yeah, I guess you were 3rd. I'm old and forgetful. Don't give me a hard time. See you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's show will be different. I can almost promise you. Because I can't figure out how to do what I want to do, except for the way I kind of got it figured out.
The professor will make it different tomorrow.
I doubt he even shows up again tomorrow.
No great loss.
Yeah, I mean, if he does, he does. If he don't, he don't. So good night, everyone. Thank you. If you'd like to join us on, yeah, you've heard it. Bye. See you. Pushing the button. Thank you, Greggy.